Viewers like you make this program possible. Support your local PBS station.
Ready?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Not bashful bird. Not a bashful bird at all. Ow! Ow, crap. Oh man, this is one of those birds that's gonna try to blind me.
Yeah, I was asking about your lens.
Yeah, okay, here we go. This is gonna be one of those things where I'm back here.
Roger.
Yeah, tell me about it. Hey Jim, can you distract him in the back of the box? Good.
Roger.
Good, he's looking.
Roger.
Oh, he did that.
Is the female any nicer?
Yeah, she's a lot mellower, but...
Ouch! Get some break. God dang it. Man, can he bite?
Yeah, look at how big and bad he is.
Oh my God. It's a little Jurassic Parky right now. That's my blood on the front of it. There it is. This is a nice new clean box before we started. I just don't want to be blinded. God dang it. This is like a $6,000 camera. Doesn't he know that?
Hey.
Ow! God dang it. Do you like this bird, Jen?
Yes, he's fantastic. Raja. Look at his beautiful eyelashes. Yes, he is glorious. You getting him?
Trying. Got it. Nice. Okay. Okay. Did we get anything? I got a couple where he was back far enough. Like that we could work. I got a couple that'll work. That'll work.
You're getting through.
Yeah. Okay. See how the hair is up into the white? I don't want that. I don't want that. So look at here. Look, there. See how it all fits? It all fits within the black? That's what we want. It all fits. Okay. All right. Done. Thank God. Time for lunch. You know, I think I have the best job in the world. I like my job today. Most days. I'm traveling the globe to photograph the world's rarest creatures. And that means getting very close.
Hey, he's got teeth. Hey, oh.
To all kinds of species. I'm Joel Sartori, and I've been a National Geographic photographer for over 25 years. The pictures that have always meant the most to me are the ones that deal with vanishing places and animals, things that might not be around for much longer. For the last 11 years, I've been collecting photographs for something I call the Photo Ark. The Photo Ark is the most comprehensive photographic record of the world's biodiversity ever made using studio portraits. Almost a third of all animals are threatened with extinction. And it's folly to think we can drive half of everything else to extinction, but that people will be just fine. That's why I created the Photo Ark. I've seen how photos can lead to change. There you go. Pictures I've made of parrots in South America and koalas in Australia help pressure local governments to protect those animals. So I'll go anywhere, from Nebraska to Florida to Madagascar, to work with the people who will do whatever it takes to save these creatures. By looking animals directly in the eye, I hope that my photos reach people on an emotional level, because you won't save what you don't love. I'm in Madagascar, an island nation off the southeast coast of Africa. I've come all this way because Madagascar has some of the coolest animals on the planet and found nowhere else. In the past decade, more than 600 new species have been discovered here. But as fast as they're finding new species, they're losing others even faster. That's because they're cutting down their forests and burning up the land. Habitat loss is decimating the animals that live here, so I'm in a race to get as many of these critters into the Photo Ark as possible. In the next 10 days, I'm going to work my way around the island, moving from zoos to nature preserves to parks, photographing species wherever I can. The animals I'm most eager to see are lemurs. Lemurs aren't quite monkeys, but they are primates. They came to Madagascar from Africa at least 50 million years ago. Isolated on an island with few natural predators, their numbers and varieties exploded. That's why there are so many different species of lemurs, around 100. And the only place to see them in the wild is right here in Madagascar. One of the main reasons I came here is to be able to photograph one of the least studied lemurs, the acrobatic Deccan's sifaka. It will take me days to get to the Deccan's sifaka. My first stop is a place called Lemur Island, a tiny preserve that protects a variety of creatures. Okay, super excited about this. There's a sifaka type of lemur across a river. It's gonna be hell getting across, literal living hell. I mean, this river's nasty, nasty. But I'm traveling light. This will be my 25th lemur species. Okay, super excited. I don't have any dry bags though to keep my gear dry if we go through rapids or something. So, I don't know, it's worth risking. It's worth risking it all to get this animal because it's not kept in zoos anywhere that I know of, so. Okay, all right. It's gonna be bad if we go through rapids and get wet. It's gonna be nasty.
So you want to paddle the boat yourself? You alone?
No, you can paddle too. You know where we're going. That wasn't that bad. Maybe this is gonna be easier than I thought. Okay, ready. Where's the lemurs?
You see, when you feed them, you just open your hands, but less the big bite your fingers.
Oh,
Like that.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want them to bite my fingers. Okay. I'm not getting any pictures, but it's still kind of fun. They're kind of soft. And they smell good. They don't smell stinky or anything. So Lemur Island is kind of a rescue and a rehab center for lemurs. These are animals that are habituated. This is a semi-captive situation. And the tourists love it, obviously, because these animals are friendly and they eat right off your hand and your top of your head. And this is their panda. Lemurs are like their panda. And they're just awesome. So, I mean, they have 10% of their forest left. And if they keep logging everything, they will not have lemurs in the wild anymore, and that will stink. This is a national treasure. The whole world comes here to see lemurs. There's the other one's coming. Look at that. Wow, that's amazing. These are the ones we want to get.
Yeah.
Look at this. You might think, I already have 24 lemurs. Why do I need more? The reality is, they're all in danger of extinction. They're also all very different from each other. Each one has evolved different adaptations in order to survive. So some have huge eyes to operate at night. One has pointed claws to dig insects out of branches and bark. And one has developed rings on its tail to communicate with family members. Each of these species is a specialized gardener, eating and reseeding the forest, which keeps it healthy for everything else in it. Diademid sifaka are among the largest lemurs, coming in at around 41 inches. Half of that length is its tail, to help keep its balance. They're also among the most colorful and graceful. Wow. That's cold. This is the dumbest thing I've ever tried in my life. In terms of trying to get an animal on a background in the wild, this is really stupid because I'm just asking for trouble. People want to know, well, why don't you do this in the wild all the time? Well, you can't just walk up to animals and put a black background behind them in the woods. I mean, okay, maybe you can. Okay. can't believe we're getting this. I think we got it. An animal in the wild. I never would have thought this would work out ever in a million years. I mean, this is totally ridiculous, isn't it? It's totally goofy. This is an animal that's completely habituated, completely used to people. So this is just kind of silly, you know, in a way. But I don't know where this one exists in captivity. This is one of the most fun shoots I've done for the Ark. I'm thinking tomorrow will go just as smoothly when I'm shooting one of the slowest creatures on the planet. Their speed should make it easy to photograph them, but it's also made them easy to catch and eat. Giant tortoises are now extinct in the wilds of Madagascar, though some still live on nearby islands. This is a nice, easy one. And they're pretty good if they're hungry. Aldabra giant tortoises can grow to weigh over 500 pounds and live to be more than 100 years old. Their shells make them seem like armored tanks, but when flipped over, they're totally vulnerable. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, back. Yep. Never. I would never do something like that. But my turtle expert says I have to be able to see the bottom of the shell to tell you what it is. You see that big concave spot and how the plates go together? That determines what he is, where he came from. Wherever giant tortoises live, they sculpt the landscape, similar to the role elephants play in Africa and Asia. They're basically like lawnmowers that eat their way through the countryside. They till the soil when walking and eating, then fertilize and reseed it on the back end. Because they need to consume a lot, using food as an incentive should work just fine. We get the turtle here and he reaches up like that and boom, takes a picture, right? Okay. And then we walk him around again and he has to be right here and boom. Yeah, there's no hurrying this along. He doesn't like the floor mat, the black on the floor. Plan B. Our tortoise would not have anything to do with this, so we are going to start over again.
Wait,
We just got to get him another 10 feet. Getting there, almost. 6 feet. The last giant tortoise I did was cool with it. Okay, here we go. Now, let's lift his head up. Up. I thought this was going to be easy, but I think we might be up against more than just a black backdrop. Wind, bad wind. It's been hard enough to photograph this giant tortoise, but when it might be distracted by other tortoises mating, forget about it. Turtles mating in the background. Okay. No. No, it's okay. You can't make a 400-pound tortoise do what he doesn't want to do. That's a lot of work. Look at this big sat. We just could not get him to stay over there. We just wanted to get out of here, so we got 0. I mean, we got pictures, they're just garbage. They're absolute garbage. Oh, we didn't get anything. All right. Well, whatever distracted him, all I know is he's doing better than I am right now. As I drive across Madagascar, it's become obvious how important it is to do what I'm doing. It's impossible not to notice the deforestation. It's absolutely everywhere. The country is literally on fire. More than half of their primary forests are gone now, and it's getting worse every year. And without the forests, the animals and even the people won't be able to survive here. Just stopping along the road where all this cooking charcoal is for sale gives you a clue to just how complicated this is. So here's what happens. When you clear a rainforest out, when you clear it, you cut it and you burn it. What happens is the trees and the vegetation that was there to stabilize the mountain, basically keep the soil in place, that's all gone. The rains come and it washes everything away. Totally erodes the surface of the earth. We have to have plants covering the earth to keep the soil there. So when you drive the length of Madagascar, you just see tons of erosion where the forests used to be. And the forests get cut because people need to eat. They cut those forests down so they can plant crops, and they cut those forests down so they can burn the woods. Once the trees are down, they burn them, and they make cooking charcoal. And cooking charcoal is important because people need to have something to heat their stoves with, because they don't have electricity, and also because they can sell it as a good at these roadside stands. But you can see how the world's ending a little bit at a time when you do this. You can't cut all the trees down and have a stable environment, one that's good for wildlife and people. You just can't. Habitat loss isn't just a problem in places like Madagascar, though. It's a huge problem where I was shooting earlier this year in Florida. Sea level rise and human development have eaten up much of the normal habitat for the creatures that live here. This is a little mucky. This one's open, Sandra. For more than 10 years, I've been working in Florida with Sandra Sneckenberger,
Oh, yeah, we got a little guy.
a biologist with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. In that time, Sandra's helped me add dozens of endangered species to the Ark, like the silver rice rat. The main reason I came to Florida this time, though, is to get the Lower Keys marsh rabbit. It's an animal I've been trying to get into the photo ark for years. But first, we have to catch one. Okay, so what's the plan? If you get a rabbit,
Yep.
you're gonna bring it out to the road, and then
Yep.
we're gonna set up the portable studio out here in the biting flies and mosquitoes?
Exactly.
Okay, great. This little rabbit had been at the top of my list to photograph because it's nearly gone now and restricted to just a few little patches of land. I'm just gonna follow in your footsteps.
Okay.
It's kind of like an alarm system. If the rabbit's declining, the ecosystem is too. And that should worry us all, because these marshes serve as buffers from storms and flooding, purify our air and water, and provide a home for other species. Across the country, sea level rise impacts almost 20% of our endangered species. But it's not just the animals that are threatened. The people down here in Florida feel the effects of sea level rise as well. And with scientists predicting that the ocean will rise 2 to 6 feet in the next 80 years, that's bad news for the Lower Keys marsh rabbit. This bunny is so rare that it took us years to get permission from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to actually trap one.
Ooh, fresh. Those look fresh. The door is sort of shut. Something happened with that trigger.
Was it tripped? There's a rabbit right there. There he goes, there he goes.
Oh, I saw him.
Right there. Right there.
Traps. We're trapping the right area.
I think he was mocking us.
Do you know that the rabbit, its subspecies name is Hefneri?
Is it
Really,
named
but-
after Hugh Hefner?
It is, because the Playboy Foundation funded it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Terrible. God. How do you do this?
It's a two-door.
That's down too?
Yep.
Uh-oh, maybe.
We have one.
We got one?
Yes.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding.
Let me see, let me see. You're kidding me. Seriously? Oh, yeah, there he is.
I can do cartwheels right now.
I can't believe it. You got a big one, right? You did a little rabbit dance there, Sandra.
I'm pretty psyched.
Me too. I can't believe it.
A little bit of pressure off.
Tiny little ears, too. How cool is that?
Can I hug you? Because I'm
you
super
can give me-
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. That's great. How long have we been talking about this? Years and years
Forever.
and years? That's great.
Yeah, right. You set that one with nothing. That's awesome. Great job.
You heard? Sure.
I'm so happy for you.
Okay, rabbit time. I can't believe you got one.
Ye of little faith.
Yeah, because the traps weren't closing.
It was not all the traps. The rain, I think the rain also messes with all the cages themselves.
Sandra, I can't publish your excuses. You know how many times I've been told that by National Geographic? You're doing this, but
Yeah.
you need to be doing this. That's what they
Those
say.
are high expectations.
Oh, it's not for wimps, you know. Okay. And... Got him, Sandra.
Nice.
He's got a great pose. For rabbits, usually they sink down. They're never up like that, so that he's great. He's fantastic as rabbits go. Now, see?
Yeah.
I mean, he's up at least. That's a good, pretty good. He's up. That's great. Okay. The Lower Keys marsh rabbit has already been wiped out in most of the Keys. The largest remaining population is making its last stand here on a key called Boca Chica. And the reason is kind of a surprise. There are about 300 acres that haven't been developed yet. That's because they're on the Key West Naval Air Station. Outside of the base, human development has chewed up their habitat. The roads and traffic that connect it all can make traveling deadly. One of the biggest threats comes from those who hunt rabbits. House cats and feral cats both kill any rabbits that are still around. The base, on the other hand, is a cat-free zone, where the rabbits' numbers are actually on the rise.
Let's put it right near a nice furrow. Let's see.
There he is. I'll take the box away.
Just making him look pretty.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. You did good.
How about that?
How about that?
5 years in the making. There's just no way I could ever fill the ark if it took years to photograph every animal. In fact, on most trips, I average about 20 critters a day. So in between getting the rabbit and the hornbill, I squeezed in shoots with a baby vulture, a Chilean pudu, which is a kind of deer, a pair of jaguars, and an incredible haul, the world's crocodilians. I only needed 7 more to get all the world's crocodilians into the photo ark. And lucky for me, the St. Augustine Alligator Farm has them all. Crocodilians include alligators, caiman, gharial, and crocodiles. One amazing thing I learned is that this body type has been tried and tested since the age of the dinosaurs. That's one reason these guys are so strong. They're built like armored trucks. Hold on to that. Keepers from all across the country come here to learn how to care for crocodilians, so this is pretty routine for them. Very nice. He'll keep his tail there. That's the money shot. Very nice. Beautiful. But handling crocodilians is never routine, so covering their eyes and limiting their movement with blankets are just some of the best practices used to help calm them down and protects keepers from teeth and tail.
Yep.
But when it comes to crocodilians, nothing's really routine.
Cody, be ready. I might need you to grab the rope if Jim's unavailable too. Yeah, I don't like catching black caiman. All right, everyone out of the enclosure, please. Go, go, go.
This one really can damage you, just rip you up, break your leg. But with its tail and its head thrashing, we're just gonna try to get what we can. I don't even know if we're gonna try black. I don't know. You wanna try black?
I don't want to, but if we can try. She's looking your way. Stay as wide as you can.
For the last one, I have to get a little bit more hands-on than I'm used to. So there's a Yacare in here somewhere?
Yeah.
We need 1 caiman, Yacare caiman, and then all needs the gharial.
see what I'm getting.
It might look like it's hard on the animals, but they've evolved very thick skin on top of bony plates.
There we go.
Is that him?
Yeah.
That's partly because when crocs hunt, and even when they mate, they can be pretty violent. So handling them this way doesn't hurt them.
Make a little tension for me.
Hold on.
All right, you can relax with that. Wash me off so when I pick it up. Towel?
Rag.
This is why selling caimans as pets is a stupid idea. Because they're among the most difficult, in my opinion, of all the crocodilian. As far as when you have to have hands-on with them.
Yeah. Sandra, I gotta switch places with you. Okay. All right.
So these guys have a bony cap in the skin, and so when they shut their eyes, their eyes sink down inside their skull, and then that bony cap protects it. So when they're struggling with prey, or when you're doing that,
And I'll follow you. All right, so with that Yaqaray caiman, I've got every crocodilian species in the world except one, the gharial. So that is very exciting.
you need to go to India.
India, maybe. Okay, this is the last species I need of crocodilian. Look at this. This is the gharial from India. Look at that. That's amazing. Very few places keep them, and the ones that have them won't catch them up because they're really delicate. They could break their nose. We don't want that. We don't want any injuries. So that's the last one I need, but we're not gonna get it here. So, just spitting cobras in here. So where do we set up for a spitting cobra? Maybe use this table? I got those spitting cobras. And more importantly, a few months later, I actually went to India and boarded the last crocodilian on the photo ark, the gharial. Before I leave Florida, there's one more animal I need to see. It's an incredibly rare mammal, one I first met more than 20 years ago. It's the key deer, a peculiar, almost miniature deer found only here in the Keys. The traffic on this road is unbelievable now. Drive with caution. You're entering an endangered species area. Speed kills key deer. I was here last in 1994, I think. So I was doing a story on the Endangered Species Act, and it was just amazing to me that these deer are even around anymore. All this traffic. There's one dead right there. There's a deer right there, dead, right alongside the road. Let's get out and shoot that. That is amazing and sad, and it's a buck, and it's laying right there alongside the road. Let's just walk out there and get that. Sad. Really pathetic. This kind of thing really just pisses me off completely. Look at this. I mean, look at how sad this is. Look at this. How sad is this? You know, one of the rarest mammals in North America, one of the rarest mammals in the world. Try to get movement in the cars zooming by using a really slow shutter speed, which shows, see like this guy? Is that his tail out there in the middle of the street? Living so close to humans, key deer have very little fear of us, and that's not a good thing. You know, they kind of look like Bambi, so tourists want to get close to them and feed them. That brings the deer closer to roads where they get hit by cars. Last year, 124 key deer were killed by vehicles. When I visited more than 20 years ago, there were only around 300 total. But you know what? Their numbers are actually up. The Key Deer National Wildlife Refuge has helped bring their numbers up to around 1,000 deer. So even though people are responsible for so many deer fatalities, the remaining key deer actually owe a lot to their human neighbors. Deer move back and forth each day from the refuge and nearby housing developments in search of food and fresh water. There are a lot of deer in the U.S., so you might wonder, why are we bothering to protect this subspecies? But the key deer are unique. They're much smaller and lighter, about the size of a large dog. They've adapted perfectly to the tropical heat and the limits of living on an island. And because they've been confined to 20 to 25 keys, they've learned to swim from island to island in search of food and fresh water. Despite being good swimmers, a serious threat to these deer is rising sea levels. Since most of their habitat is less than 3 feet above sea level, salt water will replace the fresh water the deer drink and depend on. It may just be a matter of time before their land and access to fresh water is gone, along with this entire neighborhood. My neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska, is where the photo arc started, right here at the Lincoln Children's Zoo.
No!
How are you, bud? The first thing I shot here was the least likely animal you can imagine, the naked mole rat. They're about blind, aren't they?
Oh, they are blind because they are subterranean.
Look at that. They never quit moving around.
No, scientists are actually studying the naked mole rat as to why they are immune to cancer. The secret for curing humans from cancer could be hidden in these strange little naked rats with huge buck teeth. You never know. Hence the importance of preserving wildlife.
Yeah.
It may be there, the cure for cancer.
I had no idea. Learning about the naked mole rat's resistance to cancer really hits home for me, because cancer is why the photo arc got started in the first place. When I first started working for the Geographic, I did a lot of I did whatever stories they assigned me to. It could be a story on Connecticut or federal land use in the American West or just anything. And then Kathy got really sick.
It's been 10 years ago now. Just before Thanksgiving, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And at the time we had, 3 little kids, and we didn't know how it would go. And
she was on chemo and radiation for the better part of a year, and so I was grounded. I was home for the first time in many, many years.
He was home that whole time, so he really did step up and take care of the kids, become, Mr. Mom.
I don't think I'd changed a diaper even on the littlest one. He was 2. So I was pretty terrified. I was afraid that she was going to die. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to raise children. I was really afraid I wouldn't be able to pay our mortgage or pay our bills, because I'd made all my living doing day rates, shooting by the day for National Geographic magazine, and that all came to a screeching halt. One of the things that happened is I had a lot of time to think during the day when Kathy was asleep. I'd have a lot of time to think about what to do with the rest of my life. I was 43.
And so he was at a loss for what to do. He started taking stock pictures of vegetables and plants or flowers, whatever. So I guess he ran out of things to take pictures of around the house. So he went to just down the street at our local zoo.
On the days when Kathy felt better, I went to the Lincoln Children's Zoo and started doing pictures. Started with a naked mole rat, did a couple of poison dart frogs, and I did their turtles and their snakes, and pretty soon, before you know it, I photographed every animal at the zoo. And then I went on to the Omaha Zoo, which has one of the biggest collections in the world. Eventually got everything they had. And I went to Kansas City and Sioux Falls and Oklahoma City. and Houston and Des Moines and Denver and Minneapolis, just every place I could drive to in my Prius, and got everything they had.
Since I was feeling pretty good and he was back on track, he thought, I'm gonna pursue this. And it ended up being the photo arc.
Of course, the project I started to keep me at home more now has me gone more than 3/4 of the year. But when an opportunity to go to a place like Madagascar comes up, I have to take it. The island of Madagascar has more variety of animals than any place I've ever photographed. And even though there's a lot of devastation here, just seeing the variety of species has been pretty inspiring. I'm hoping that when people see images of this Madagascar pochard, the tomato frog, and the giant zonosaur, they'll understand what biodiversity looks like and just how special Madagascar is. It's like a living laboratory with thousands of species found nowhere else in the world that have adapted to every part of the island. Like the Madagascar fish eagle, an animal particularly hard hit by deforestation. Because when it's not fishing, it's probably up in a tree. They're just one of hundreds of species here whose numbers are declining right along with the trees. Once found across Madagascar, their numbers have dropped to under 400 in the wild. Eagles, regardless of where they live, are at the top of their food chain. They keep populations of smaller birds, rodents, and fish in check. A broken food chain puts this whole ecosystem out of whack. With less than 200 mating pairs left in Madagascar, I'm lucky to get this opportunity. Simbazaza Zoo is the only place I know of that has them in captivity. Okay, that was easy. So this is a really, really rare bird. And the claws go right through your skin, so we brought gloves because he didn't have gloves or anything. Okay, let's go inside. You can see how these birds have adapted to fishing. They have remarkable eyes, 4 times more powerful than ours, which can spot prey from over a mile away. Razor-sharp claws to catch it, and a piercing beak to cut into a meal. This is my one chance I'm ever gonna have to do this bird. I never thought I'd get this, the Madagascar fish eagle. It's been on the brink of extinction for years, and this is just really cool. And he's nice and calm, and he's fluffing up his feathers. And this is the only zoo where I could do this, and this is the only country that has this bird. And maybe there's a couple hundred in the wild, tops, maybe. This bird's just exceedingly rare. Although habitat loss is taking a big toll here, it's hard to get a feel for what that looks like. At least until you see some of the old collections, like this one. Look at this, look at this. So it smells like mothballs in here. I mean, look, this is why I'm doing the photo arc, okay? So this is how animals look when they die. These are animals that have been preserved, full of grasses. This lemur species, variegata, it is the most gorgeous animal when it's alive, just beautiful. Look at this. That's all that's left. And these are the most amazing looking animals in how they behave and how they look, and the eyes are huge and like the windows to the soul. And are we gonna get the public to care about the extinction crisis with dead specimens? No, we need to show animals alive, and they need to be beautifully lit and up close and over and over and over again so people realize what's at stake. You know, the stakes here are that animals like lemurs don't live anywhere else in the wild. That's why it's important for me to document what I can while I'm here. So I've already shot one of the biggest lemurs, that 40-inch long diademid with the huge tail, and now I'm gonna shoot one of the smallest, a less than 2-ounce brown mouse lemur. Yeah, can we close all the windows? We just don't want anything getting out and running away because these are really rare. And anytime you work in a box, there's a risk of the animal getting out. It doesn't happen very often, but we just don't want the animal getting out. I had somebody bring a monkey to my motel room one time, and the monkey got out of the box in my hotel room. It was a rodeo, it's not any fun. It's kind of terrifying, actually. Okay? Yeah? Okay. So I'm almost ready. This lemur is extremely uncommon in zoos. And it's a little mouse lemur and kind of ferocious for his size. Very small, very fast. Pretty big relief when we're done. See, I've got him all battened down inside this crate. Okay, we've got a net. Keep that shut. You got him? Okay, that's why we close the windows. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's fast. He's like greased lightning. Oh, there he is, right there. Got to get him out of the corner. Really not fun to photograph. Big relief when we get done with something like this. There he goes. Don't move, anybody. Don't move. Now, you'd never guess it because they're so fast. But during the dry season, when food is scarce, brown mouse lemurs can go into torpor, a type of hibernation where their body temperature drops and metabolism slows down. Leading up to it, they'll fatten themselves up, storing most of it in their tail, then wait out the lean times. And when they come out of it, it's usually at night. Their massive eyes gather as much light as possible for their nocturnal routines. I kind of like photographing the littlest creatures for the photo arc, because they're often more important to the health of an ecosystem than the big ones. So while I've shot wolves, coyotes, and mountain lions, it's a place like Madagascar, home to almost half the chameleons of the world, that I really love. When I have the chance to shoot in a place like this, that just has tons of species I'm not going to get anywhere else, I can't stop till I get them all. There's so many different species of chameleons, kind of like lemurs. Each has evolved to fill a specific niche. Look at how awesome biodiversity is. We literally have buckets full of different types of chameleons. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. They change colors to match wherever they are. Super strong tails. Sticky feet. Isn't that amazing? They need strong tails and sticky feet to grab onto tree limbs. It's not just to keep from falling off, but to avoid getting eaten. When the breeze runs through a plant, their strong grip lets them rock back and forth as if they're part of the plant blowing in the wind. And the color changing. Turns out chameleons don't actually change their color to match their background. They mostly change color to regulate their body temperature, appear darker and more aggressive to rivals, and send signals to potential mates. I mean, can you imagine if a lion could change color like a chameleon? We'd be crazy for it. But because they're a little bitty reptile, we don't pay much attention. But these guys have amazing abilities. Okay. Oh, well, that's the one we saw earlier. That's adult size. Holy cow, look at that. Look at how tiny that is. See it? Believe it or not, that's an adult. This isn't even the smallest chameleon in the world. Getting hauls like this tonight is the reason why I came to this island. I've been here for a week, and I've photographed more than 40 species, almost all of which I couldn't get anywhere else in the world. I've been working my way up the coast to get to my ultimate goal, the Deccan sifaka, one of the least known lemurs. In fact, it's never been intimately studied in the wild, and I'm about to find out why. I have 2 days left here, and I have to spend most of that time just getting to the animal. And all this traveling is finally catching up to me. Which is an island we got to take this ferry to get to it. And I feel pretty bad. I feel like I have a fever, really sick. To make matters worse, I thought I'd booked a 30-minute ferry ride. Instead, it turns out this is the 2-hour slow boat. But getting there is nothing compared to how hard it would be to see the Deccan sifaka in its natural habitat. They make their home in a massive rock formation called the Singhi, almost 400,000 acres of protected area. The Singhi kind of reminds me of a big city with giant skyscrapers. Except here, the high-rise buildings are jagged rock formations that make it almost impenetrable to people. In Malagasy, which is the local language, the word Singhi literally means where one cannot walk barefoot. There's no land to clear for planting crops or grazing livestock. There's no way to log the trees. And hunting here might mean going after your very last meal. All of that makes it a refuge for the Deccan sifaka and all the other animals that live here. Inside this stone fortress are pockets of forest which provide food and shelter for its residents. Sportive lemurs are nocturnal and use tree hollows for their daytime sleeping. Getting good rest is important, so it's no surprise they're very territorial, and they'll defend a prime sleeping spot. Sportive lemurs are also solitary, which makes for a very simple sleeping arrangement. Only room for one in here. On the other hand, brown lemurs are very social and travel in large groups. Their diet consists mainly of fruit and leaves. It's September in the Singhi and many months into the dry season, so a good fruiting tree can be hard to come by. And they've got the numbers to fend off moochers. A rare Deccan sifaka, wearing a baby like a backpack, is hoping for fruit this morning. Not today, though. Temperatures here in the dry season can be very hot, so it's important to use the cool, early mornings to forage. They feed on leaves, fruit, flowers, even tree bark. This mother is eating for two. Her baby boy still relies on his mother for milk. She's got a busy morning getting enough water, fat, and other nutrients from the leaves, flowers, and fruit she eats to produce the milk. While she makes sure they don't both starve to death, he practices his sifaka. She's arranged a late morning play date with some of the older boys. Mother's calling. The day's getting warmer, and it's time for his feeding and a nap for both. What sets sifakas apart from other lemurs is that they travel vertically when leaping and clinging. Long, powerful legs take them from tree to tree in their daily quest for food, often flying 20 to 30 feet in a single jump. And access is something these guys have over all the other lemurs here. In the Singhi, all trees eventually lead back to rock. And scientists think the Sifakas have developed an incredible adaptation to deal with their environment. Thick pads on their hands and feet protect them from the knife-like edges of the rock, allowing them to make amazing use of the limestone walls. These skillful climbers take their time negotiating the course. One wrong move could prove fatal. Clearing deep canyons, they leap nimbly from spire to spire. The razor-sharp pinnacles seem to lose their edge as they gracefully glide through the terrain. One more adjustment before the final leap to the next meal. A barrier to the outside world, this rock fortress has created a magical place within. A balance shaped over thousands of years for all the animals that live here. Knowing how hard it is to photograph the Deccan sifaka in the wild, I was able to find a zoo that had the only ones in captivity. What strikes me is how similar we are. After all, we do have a common ancestor. And it's no more apparent than when we change the background on this guy.
I put each species on a black and a white background, if I can. It gives us a different look, and some animals look better on one color than another. So we have the animal already in there, and we're gonna switch background colors without touching the animal. We're gonna pull that black out slowly, leave the animal right there. Okay, yeah. Okay. Jesus, hot. I suppose this is sifaka weather.
Lemurs used to roam all over this island. Yet today, 91% of all lemur species are threatened with extinction. My hope is that some of these photos might help to bring their numbers back up.
That's what the photo arc really is about. It's hoped that people will fall in love with these things, want to learn about what happened to this species, what they can do to save it, and then realize that it ties directly back into their own lives.
I'm 11 years into this project and probably have another 10 to 15 years to go until the photo arc is complete. This is a lifelong mission for me, but I gotta say, I don't think there's ever been a better chance or a better time to save the world.